Yo, book nerds, I cannot believe it's November already. I don't know where this year has gone. If you've watched my previous videos, you will know that I am not participating in Nonfiction November this year. Unfortunately, I just cannot handle any more nonfiction at the moment. But I do have some nonfiction on my TBR, and so I'm going to go through those books so you can see what nonfiction I might read in the future. I have only one nonfiction series on this list, so I'll start with that. I think that nonfiction series are pretty uncommon. I haven't really come across many of them. But this is a memoir series, and it's the Colwood series by Homer H. Hickam Jr. It starts with October Sky, also published under the name Rocket Boys. I have seen the movie for this and love it. And the second book in the series is The Colwood Way, and then it finishes with Sky of Stone. I have been wanting to read these for a few years. This was actually kind of top of the list for me this year if I had decided to read some nonfiction. These books are all about Homer Hickam and his life in Colwood, and about him wanting to get out of Colwood and pursue science and his interest in space and rockets. And it's a great, great story, and I'm excited to read it. Another memoir I have on the list would be Defiance by Nakama Tech. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I also have seen this movie and love it. This was also one I had considered reading this year, so this watch for in the near future because I definitely want to read this story. Defiance is about World War II, and it is about Jews that hid in the woods and fought back and survived because they banded together in this community in the woods. And it's just a remarkable story. And even though I haven't read it, I definitely think this is going to be one I feel everyone will need to read. Confessions by St. Augustine. I personally am Catholic, and so this has religious meaning for me. I had considered reading this either this year in November or December, but again, I just can't find that urge to read nonfiction right now. This book is about St. Augustine and his conversion to the Catholic faith, and about how he was a sinner and he had found God, and pretty much how he turned his life around. Another one that has religious significance to me is The Voices of Morbath, which is by Eamon Duffy. I hope that I'm saying that name correctly as well. This is about the Reformation in England and how a lot of the monasteries there and the abbeys were dissolved and disbanded during Henry VIII's reign and after, and how the common people felt about losing their abbeys and their faith, and how many of them missed their Catholic faith and they had to follow Protestantism. I'm a history nerd, and so that fascinates me because what I hear most often in history books and such is that the Reformation was very good for like common people because they could finally read the Bible and stuff like that. And so this is like the opposite take on it, and how some people didn't like the Reformation. So it's something that's kind of new to me because I'm so used to hearing the story that the Reformation was good for the lower class people. And so yeah, this is definitely one I'm interested in checking out just to see another perspective on history. Believe It by Jamie Kern Lima. My mom bought me this book. I don't really know what it's about. I believe it's some kind of inspirational book. So yeah, I don't really have much to say on this one because I don't really know what it's about. The Journals of Lewis and Clark by Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. I have had this book in my possession for a long time. This is hands down the oldest book on my physical TBR. I got this like when I was probably 10 years old. Why? I have no idea. I chose to buy this book when I was like 10 years old and I've never read it. But I am interested in reading it because I do love history a lot. So that's why I've never gotten rid of it. But I just have not ever found the time or urge to read it yet, as I'm a mood reader, so I need to have that draw in the moment to read a book. But this is literally their journals from their explorations, and so I think that will be interesting to read someday. And then the last nonfiction book on my physical TBR is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. This book, from my understanding, is about being a leader and about wisdom and about understanding conflict. And I don't really know much more than that. I have heard that many people read this book so that they become better at rhetoric and arguing, like debate-wise. So I find that kind of fascinating. I don't know how accurate that is. That's just what I've heard. So that does fascinate me and make me want to read it. So those are all of the nonfiction books that I currently have on my physical TBR. Let me know which ones you think I would like the most and that I should try first. I don't think that I will get to any of them this year, but hopefully next year I will feel that urge again to pick up a nonfiction book. Let me know what you guys are reading for Nonfiction November. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks for talking books with me.